did get officers inside of the building at the Planned Parenthood, and the officers were able to shout to the suspect and make communication with him. And at that point, they were able to get him to surrender, and he was taken into custody.
We're tracking a breaking story out of Colorado this hour. A 5-hour-long standoff has ended in the city of Colorado Springs. Police were responding to an active shooter situation at a Planned Parenthood clinic. 11 people have been taken to hospital, including 5 police officers. And as you just heard, police were eventually able to get inside the clinic, make contact with the suspect, and get him to surrender. I'm Chris Brown, live in Vancouver. Ian Hannamansing is away this week. We've also just learned that 2 people have been killed in that incident. There are lots of unknowns at this hour, who the gunman is and also what his motive was. Susanna De Silva joins me now with the latest. Susanna.
That's right, Chris. Lots of questions at this point. As you mentioned, they were able to get inside, get him out after more than 5 hours inside that building. Police saying that he came into that building with a long gun of some sort, that he also brought some other items with him, which may have included a bag and other propane tanks. That's now part of what police are doing at that scene, going through it to see if any of those items may in fact be explosive devices, and also clearing that building to see if in fact there are any other victims still inside. We know the 11 people taken to hospital, hearing now about 2 people that have been killed. 5 police officers were also injured, 3 of them initially right when they responded to the scene, 2 others as that day progressed. It's not clear at this point what the condition is of those other people that are still inside that hospital. We also had initially heard that it may have started at a bank nearby, but police saying this man went directly to that Planned Parenthood office. That is where the situation began, and that is where it continued through much of the afternoon. Police initially did not have contact with that suspect who was inside. The only contact they had was in the form of exchanges of gunfire until they were able to get inside and make vocal contact before that man surrendered. Now, Planned Parenthood, people may know, is one of the biggest providers of health reproductive services in the United States, providing things like abortions, but also things like cancer screening and STD screening. So it's not clear at this point if, in fact, it was targeted to the Planned Parenthood. But for those inside, it was a frightening scene as this man came in. One woman actually called her brother from inside as she was hiding behind a table, telling him to take care of her children.
She called me and she was telling me that there was a shooting. I heard that the shooting, and she couldn't say too much because she was afraid that those guys,
Now, we still don't know at this point what the condition of his sister is. It was also frightening for all of those around that area. They cordoned off a number of businesses, offices nearby, strip malls that were nearby, and people were told simply to stay inside and take cover.
I realize, details are obvious.
I locked the door. I stayed to the back. Granted, the front of our building's 99% glass, so I don't know what our locked door is going to do for us if things were to get worse, but no, I just avoid the doors, the windows, and I'm just sitting here calm in the back.
Susie, do we have any details at all about the suspect?
At this point, no. Police, when they were speaking a short time ago, say they'd only just taken him into custody. Earlier on, they had no idea who he was. Some people were naming some possible suspects online. Police saying they could not confirm that at this point, so they don't know if this man had some sort of a connection to the clinic, a connection with someone who worked inside, or simply was targeting the clinic because of what it is. And the head of Planned Parenthood sent out a statement saying as well, we don't yet know the full circumstances and motives behind this criminal action, and we don't yet know if Planned Parenthood was in fact the target of this attack.
So we don't have an identity, we don't really know the motives, but the organization has seen violence, severe violence at locations before. Tell me about that.
Yeah, of course, abortion, a hot button issue in many places, certainly in the United States, and there have been Planned Parenthoods that have seen violence occur in their locations. In 1994, a man entered 2 Planned Parenthood locations. He killed 2 people, wounded 5 others. There was also a bombing at a clinic in Wisconsin back in 2012. There was also a fire at a clinic in Washington in 2015. So they have seen episodes of violence in the past.